Midday, international students across the nation under threat, and how one UF student has now been deported, how his classmates are standing up.
Plus, President Trump announcing a pause on many of his retaliatory tariffs Wednesday. What comes next for the administration in their ongoing international discussions?
And how these uncertain economic times could increase your spending in a few key areas. WUFT Midday starts right now.
You're watching WUFT Midday.
Immigration issues taking place nationwide have made their way to Gainesville. A UF international student detained by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement in March has now been officially deported back to Colombia. Welcome to WUFT Midday. I'm Carle.
And I'm Maria Avlontis. Students gathered outside Turlington Wednesday to protest that decision. WFT's Carolina Tortorelli was there and followed them on their march to Tigard Hall, where they shared their grievances.
The cry is for justice. As you can see, dozens of students have gathered here at Turlington Plaza to protest on behalf of a student who got deported after a traffic stop.
This body cam footage of Felipe Zapata Velázquez, an international student from Colombia, captures his arrest on March 28th for driving with an expired license and registration tag. Zapata Velázquez was in the middle of renewing his student F1 visa when he was taken into ICE custody. 11 days later, he was back in Colombia. Ethan Maya de Nidel, an immigration programs manager for the Women's Health Project, said this scares him.
I think it's pretty terrifying. There's so much misinformation about how deportations are only affecting criminal immigrants, but we see Felipe as a great case of someone who had a minor traffic violation and has already been deported.
The Young Democratic Socialist of America chapter organized a campus protest to share frustration about how the university handled this situation.
Put in danger by local law enforcement agencies.
We hope that UF sees that so much of its student body is dedicated to the protection and well-being of the immigrant community and international student community here at UF.
The protest started with chants at Turlington Plaza and ended after a march to Tigard Hall, where the protesters spoke outside the UF presidential office. Protester Leo Morera was in the crowd. He feels sympathy for Felipe and his immigrant family and friends.
Everyone knows someone who is going through something because of this.
The YDSA hopes the university will hear their voices.
If they're smart, they'll listen to their students.
Zapata Velázquez is now back in Colombia, but the people behind me continue his fight. Reporting outside Tigard Hall, Carolina Tortorelli, WUFT News.
The fight is not only at UF, however, as students across the country continue to be surprised by their visa status. The universities of Chicago and Missouri are now among a growing list of schools with students with revoked visas. 3 current students and 4 recent graduates of the University of Chicago had their visas canceled Wednesday. In many cases of revoked visas, it is believed students have been targeted because of political activism. Students have called this an attack on their free speech and right to protest.
It's terrible. It's very difficult to understand. I mean, the logic behind it is clearly punitive. I mean, the point is to silence expression.
Missouri professors say some visas have been revoked for infractions as minor as speeding tickets, similar to UF's Felipe Zapata Velázquez. So far, nearly 300 students have been stripped of their visas.
President Trump announced a pause on many of the tariffs passed earlier this month. Trump said the reciprocal tariffs are being paused for 90 days, but industry-specific ones will stay in place, as well as a 10% flat rate minimum on all nations. In response, the European Union is putting its retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. on hold, also for 90 days. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen wrote on social media, quote, "We want to give negotiations a chance." The EU approved its first countermeasures on Wednesday, and von der Leyen said if negotiations are not satisfactory, the countermeasures will kick in. One country not included in the 90-day pause is China, which has raised its retaliatory tariffs on UF goods to 84%. UF tariffs against Chinese goods now sit at 125%, and Beijing vowed to end the fight. The two sides traded 34% tariffs on each other, which are also taking effect now.
You may have noticed a slight drop in temperature and humidity early this morning. WFT's Jadyn Bottini joins us now with the weather forecast.
Our cooler temperatures are
Jadyn,
sticking.
can you tell us if we can expect these lower temperatures to continue?
Our cooler temperatures are sticking around into next week, but tomorrow we're going to see some showers and thunderstorms. We see some clouds rolling in on campus right now. Temperatures 73 degrees, and we're in the 70s across North Florida right now. 72 in Gainesville, 74 in Ocala and the Villages, 74 in Palatka, 72 in St. Augustine. This evening, we're going to get up to 79 degrees around 5 p.m., cooling back down to the 60s tonight, and even hitting back in the 50s as we head into the overnight tonight. Our next weather maker is this front. It'll push towards us tomorrow, bring us some isolated showers and thunderstorms and even some more severe thunderstorms in the southeastern U.S. Coming up, we're tracking these showers tomorrow. Looking forward to a sunny and cool weekend this weekend and some more cool air coming next week.
Today, the House could vote on a budget blueprint. Republicans in support of the budget say it will not cut Medicaid or Social Security assistance for qualified beneficiaries, but Democrats say they're worried about some aspects of those programs. Amy Kiley reports on both sides of the aisle.
Hands off Medicaid.
We're not going to cut Medicare, Social Security, or Medicaid.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says his chamber could vote on a budget blueprint today. The Republican plan already has the green light from the Senate, so if the House passes it, it'll likely be the foundation for how the U.S. spends money the next few years. Democrats say they're worried about what it could mean for Medicaid. In fact, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is challenging Johnson to go head-to-head with him in what's called a colloquy.
Mr. Speaker, I'm ready to yield. I'm ready to debate one-on-one on this House floor.
So far, Johnson is not accepting the challenge, but comments from the two leaders yesterday suggest what they might say if he did.
It's an assault on Medicaid, an assault on health care, an assault on nutritional assistance to children and families. It's an assault on older Americans.
Don't believe the lies about that.
The plan asked the House Energy and Commerce Committee to come up with $880 billion in cuts over 10 years. Analysts say it's hard to do that without affecting Medicaid. It provides health care to more than 20% of Americans and foots the bill for most seniors in nursing homes. Republicans say they don't want to eliminate it, but they do want to refine it.
Anybody who's an eligible beneficiary will be protected in this process. But there are a lot of other savings in fraud, waste, and abuse.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
We can now report that the budget blueprint is passed by a vote of 216 to 214 as of the past hour. A Russian American was released in a prisoner exchange after serving 1 year of a 12-year prison sentence for treason in Russia. Ksenia Karolina boarded a plane this morning back to the U.S. after she spent more than a year in Russian custody. The 34-year-old was accused of making a donation of about $50 to a Ukrainian charity after Russia invaded Ukraine. Karolina was detained when she traveled to Russia last winter to visit her family. In exchange, the U.S. has freed a dual German-Russian citizen, Arthur Petrov, who had been arrested for exploiting sensitive electronics. This is the second time an American has been released from Russia since President Trump took office in January.
UF Health, the University of Florida Police Department, Save Kids North Central Florida, and several other community organizations will team up for the annual Healthy Heroes Day for kids. The event was formerly known as UF Health Bike Rodeo. There will be several hands-on learning experiences that encourage healthy behaviors and pedestrian safety. Those who attend will also learn safety tips to help keep your child safe and healthy this summer and enjoy interactive games, free bike helmets, and a bike raffle for kids. The event is Saturday and will run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
School leaders in Marion County are urging state lawmakers not to pass a bill that would gut funding for several programs aimed at high school students. If approved, House Bill 5101 would cut 50% of funding from programs like AP, IB, Cambridge, and dual enrollment for those students. This week, the school board passed a resolution asking the legislature to reconsider the bill and amend them to protect funding. In a press release, MCPS officials say the county would lose some $2.5 million aimed at advanced credit and CAPE classes. The bill is currently being advanced in the House, along with a similar bill in the Senate, and a vote is expected on the measures this week. Bat maternity season starts later this month. Florida has about 13 native bat species who typically roost in trees, caves, and man-made buildings. Maternity season is the time when most of these bats give birth and raise their young. During this time, it is illegal to block them from their nest. The FWC says April 15th is the last day to legally push away bats from buildings. To do so after the date, you will need a special permit. Bat maternity season begins April 16th.
Now let's take a look at our DOT traffic camera overlooking Paynes Prairie. The sky looks to be a little bit overcast and it's not transmitting right now, but Jadyn Bottini will let us know if these cloudy conditions will continue.
These cloudy skies are sticking with us today and tomorrow, and we're expecting some isolated showers and thunderstorms from them tomorrow. You can see these clouds rolling in over campus. Temperature is 77 degrees right now. We're in the 70s across North Florida, 75 in Gainesville, 74 in Ocala, 76 in Jacksonville. We really haven't gotten out of that 70-degree range this week, but this afternoon we're expected to hit 80, 81 in Gainesville, 82 in Ocala and the Villages, staying in the 70s towards the coast, but these lows still getting down to the 50s into tomorrow morning, 56 in Gainesville and Ocala, 56 in Palatka, 59 in Jacksonville. What these cooler temperatures we're seeing this week, a lot like what we saw for March. We had a very warm start to our April in the 90s last week. This subtropical jet stream is pushed towards the south, and these northerly winds are bringing that cooler and drier air to us and keeping us a little bit chilly this week. The next system we're tracking is this front west of us. It'll track towards us, bring us some showers and thunderstorms, and a severe thunderstorms tomorrow for us and some severe thunderstorms today in this region here. They're under a slight risk. Primary hazards include wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Some quarter-sized hail and isolated tornadoes are possible. We're under a marginal risk for this system tomorrow, including strong wind gusts, but some isolated showers and thunderstorms is primarily what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. Checking out the timing for this, here it is 6 p.m. today. Those clouds rolling in already, and they continue to roll in into Friday morning. We start to see the system creep into the panhandle. This band here, that's going to be where you see the most severe thunderstorms between Jacksonville and Lake City, but it clears up, clearing off the east coast, leaving us with some scattered showers, and those clouds clear up by Saturday morning. Rainfall totals from this system, not too much, less than a quarter inch across North Florida, close to a tenth of an inch in Gainesville, a little less than that in Ocala. Not a huge rain system for us, just some isolated showers and thunderstorms is what we're looking at. Our next system we're tracking next week is this low way up here near Kansas. It'll track towards us, not bring us too much rain, just some cooler temperatures into next week. For the weekend, it'll be sunny in the 70s, looking for perfect weather for that orange and blue game 1 p.m. on Saturday. For the rest of the week, again, we're expecting some isolated showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, high of 81, back in the 70s this weekend, back in the 80s into next week, but not quite hitting that 90-degree mark yet.
Now let's head over to our Noticias partners for a look at today's top stories for our Spanish language audience.
Hola, soy Sofia Matute con tus noticias en 90 segundos. Más de 300 visas han sido revocadas mientras el gobierno expande razones de deportación. El secretario de Estado Marco Rubio dijo que el último mes el Departamento de Estado bajo su dirección ha revocado más de 300 visas, en su mayoría visas de estudiantes. Si alguien recibe una orden final de remoción y decide no cumplirla, el costo financiero por día es de $998 para aquellos que a pesar de la orden deciden permanecer en el país. Mientras los casos de inmigración llegan a los tribunales, la rapidez e incertidumbre genera preocupación entre los inmigrantes con visado y estatus legal. Una mujer ruso-estadounidense es detenida injustamente en Rusia, ya está en libertad y de camino a Estados Unidos. Ksenia Karelina había viajado a Rusia para visitar a su familia, sin embargo, cuando hizo una donación de aproximadamente $50 a una organización benéfica de Ucrania, un tribunal ruso dio culpable y sancionó con los 12 años de prisión. Karelina fue liberada en el marco de un intercambio de prisioneros entre Estados Unidos y Rusia que tuvo lugar en Abu Dhabi. Más de 48.400 libras de cocaína y marihuana fueron confiscadas por la Guardia Costera de los Estados Unidos. Este miércoles, la Guardia Costera de los Estados Unidos confiscó estupefacientes que eran descargados en el Port Everglades en Fort Lauderdale. El cargamento, con un valor de $509 millones, fue asaltado desde varios buques en el Océano Oeste. La tripulación del cauter James, Estados Unidos, hizo sistema de vigilancia, drones, aviones y barcos para incautar la embarcación. La fiscal general de los Estados Unidos, Pam Bondi, declaró que se llevarán a cabo 11 procedimientos distintos con el fin de impedir este tipo de operaciones. Los incautados serán procesados en Distrito Central de Florida. Esas fueron tus noticias en 90 segundos. Gracias por sintonizarnos.
President Donald Trump's tariffs on imports have caused an economic shakeup, but it's not stopping shoppers from spending this Easter holiday. Jen Sullivan looks at how much your celebration could cost and what you can do to save.
Easter spending is expected to soar this year despite a lot of economic uncertainty.
Consumers are expecting to really go out for Easter this year.
The National Retail Federation estimates consumers will shell out more than $23 billion this year, with people spending around $189 per person on average. That's up $12 from last year. Catherine Cullen from the National Retail Federation says even though some items are more expensive due to inflation, it's not holding people back from shopping.
Through all of these tumultuous times, consumers have been very protective of these holidays.
According to the NRF's recent survey, consumers will spend the most on candy and food. Nothing says Easter like an egg-stravaganza.
Easter is our highest consumption period of the entire year.
Emily Metz with the American Egg Board says Americans are expected to eat or decorate 3 billion eggs this spring season. The good news is egg prices have come down in the last few weeks, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Metz says fewer avian flu cases have helped stabilize prices, but they're still much higher than this time last year.
That has made a significant impact. It's allowing our system to recover.
So how can shoppers save this holiday?
Certainly think about which decorations you can reuse from last year, whether or not you can encourage people to participate in a potluck.
Colin also recommends painting wooden eggs instead of real ones. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Midday pause on tariffs. Some groceries may still be getting more expensive for consumers, thanks to the 10% tariffs put into effect last week. Experts say shoppers can expect to see prices rise on seafood, coffee, fruit, cheese, nuts, and candy bars. Items that use packaging like plastic and aluminum could also cost more. Supermarkets sell imported items in every section of the store. Experts also suggest perishable food prices will be the first to rise. Shelf-stable goods will then follow. Price hikes will likely depend on the size of the companies.
Many investors rejoiced Wednesday when President Trump paused most of his new tariffs, but the largest bank in the U.S. says that party will be short-lived. JP Morgan Chase issued a new report Wednesday night, and it's sticking with its forecast that there's a 60% chance the country is heading into a recession. The bank's economists say that the 10% universal tariffs in place are still a large shock, as is the massive 125% tariff on China. JP Morgan sees the U.S. war on trade as far from over. Now let's get over to WFT First at 5 anchor Alex Land with a look at what's coming up on First at 5 on Channel 5.
Thanks, Maria. We're covering 3 top stories for you tonight. A new Florida House bill could cut millions in funding for college-level programs in schools, how local school districts are responding. And Cedar Key is named the second best coastal town by USA Today. This award comes after the town was hit by 3 major hurricanes in just 13 months. We'll have how city leaders are responding. Finally, how the measles outbreak is affecting the most vulnerable. We have a reporting team looking into how kids who haven't received both vaccines are being impacted. That's all for your First at 5 preview. I'm Alex Land. See you tonight.
Before we go, one last check on the weather.
We're staying cool into this weekend and next week. Tomorrow, we're expecting some isolated showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures in the 70s this weekend, back up to the 80s next week.
Thanks for joining us today for WFT Midday. We'll see you next time.
Have a great afternoon.